Hello, Chase. Oh, look, she's jumped on just in time. I didn't think he was going to be here in time, so I was about to open the show, but he's stolen it. Hello, everybody. How are we?
Hey team, Dean. Thanks, mate. No, don't let me step in your way here. Go on, give it
Didn't have a big
the.
intro planned, mate.
Is
Really.
it?
I was just going to gloat over the fact that Fulham are better than Chelsea, but I don't know how long you want to spend on it.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Chelsea have drawn against Everton 0-0 and then scored one against Fulham. The best attack in the league doesn't look like the best attack in the league for a while. But I've spent the last 3 hours building a replica of the Chelsea Stadium. I'm halfway there. I've done the Matthew Hardin and the West Stand, and it's 175 pieces. It's going to take me days, but yeah, it's quite fun. Anyway, how is everyone? Big man, how you doing, mate?
Hi, Gianni. Hi, Dean. Hello and welcome to all the listen viewers. I'm doing well. I spent some quality time over the past few days. The holidays were going well, but yeah, the Bruno red card wasn't great. I kind of switched off from FPL because I was very very close to going Odegaard. So, I mean, I guess that the fact that Odegaard sort of blanked as well was. I guess it was a bit of a relief because I expected the swing to be much worse after Bruno got sent off. And this is actually the second time it's happened, but we move on. It's fine. I think the rest of the week was kind of all right. Double Arsenal defense did okay for me.
Nice, I like that. Yeah, we've got to speak about those Saka replacements because Saka replacements haven't been doing it. Maliki with the generous super chat. I've given into the hype and bought Isak for Jackson. Maliki's a Chelsea fan as well. I mean, we'll talk about Isak, we'll talk about Jackson. I get it. It's a great entry point. You get United and Spurs. They're good defenses to be playing against. But before we go into all that FPL chat, Dean, should ask you about your Christmas. How was San Diego for your first San Diego Christmas?
It's good, mate. Yeah, I just see that Dylan's just woken up. He's in the chat. Morning, Dills. Yeah, we had a really good Christmas, mate. Dylan was very lucky. Santa bought him a new bike, and he also got a new football goal, which is actually really cool. So we were down the park yesterday, getting out his new football goal, sticking him in the top bin. So that was fun. Yeah, we had a good one. It was reasonably warm on Christmas Day. Not like it's not boiling here at the moment. It's just nice and pleasant. So we went for like along the beach and stuff on Christmas Day, which is something I wouldn't normally do. But yeah, had friends over from England, so it was cool. We had a nice time. Boxing Day was not like any Boxing Day I've ever had, because that was hot. But yeah, we've had a very good time, mate. The best thing about Christmas was just Fulham beating Chelsea. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, the Boxing Day football actually, in terms of goals, underwhelmed a little bit, didn't it, big man? Like we didn't see the goal fest we thought we were going to see.
Exactly, there were a lot of goals which didn't see a lot of games which didn't see the amount of goals that we expected because historically Boxing Day has been a very high scoring fixture. It has high scoring fixtures, but I mean there were so many clean sheets and so many nil-nils like Bournemouth Crystal Palace, Forest Spurs. I expected that to be a goal fest. West Ham Southampton, Brighton Brentford, even Arsenal Ipswich. I expected Arsenal to win fairly comfortably, and I don't think the scoreline sort of reflected how sort of comfortable they were throughout the game. But yeah, in terms of goals, it was very underwhelming.
Yeah.
It's basically a week where if you owned, let's say, Cunha, Isak, you've had a really, really good week. But apart from that, it was fairly underwhelming for pretty much everyone else.
Yeah, we've got to speak about Cunha because we're here doing another stream. And again, we expect him to be available this weekend and probably available early January. Like so far, we haven't heard about the ban. There was a lot of reports yesterday. We saw the Athletic, the Daily Mail, the Metro, all run with the story of Cunha has been banned for 5 games. And the entire time, it was our friend FPL Booner trolling as a fake account as the FA spokesperson.
Was it really?
All of those accounts. Yeah, Athletic had to take down their report. The Sun did, the Metro, Daily Mail, all of them went on it off Booner's trolling. I'm glad it didn't get you, Dean.
No, this is why I don't check Twitter for news, mate. It's not safe. It's not safe ground. I can't believe that they've all been done by that. I haven't seen that.
It was a very well put together tweet and account. He changed profile picture tick. His following is 21k, so I always know if there's news from an account with 21k followers, it could be Bruno.
That's so poor. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just bad
the
journalism.
best way is just block the guy. I mean, why are you putting yourself through the misery? There was this guy. There was this guy a few weeks ago who sold Cunha because he apparently did tweet that he was going to miss out, and since then Cunha's just gone on a tear. So it's I mean it is funny, but yeah, I mean if you fall for it, if it bites you and stings you, then it really isn't.
So Cunha's still playing.
Yeah,
he's still playing. Yeah, and loads of people have now sold him. And what an asset to have if you hadn't made that change.
Yeah,
like he's best striker in the game.
Yeah, and do you know what? Under the new manager, the system's changed a bit. They're playing a back five. Gary O'Neill started playing a 4, but Cunha's playing like a sort of number 8, number 10, like in between the two. He's pretty much in attacking midfielder.
He just floats,
in it, isn't he?
Yeah, he just floats. He likes getting those little holes that he picks up, and he can obviously he can drift into spaces around the box, but he can also hit him from distance, can't he? So that's the big danger. Peter says been loving life as a Cunha owner. I mean, absolutely insane. Sokan, best decision so far was selling Haaland for Cunha. Who could imagine?
Who would have thought it?
A 0-pointer for Haaland, a missed penalty this weekend from Haaland. Shout out to Wazza, who is in our members WhatsApp chat. He has been sticking with Haaland, and he's actually having some decent game weeks, apart from the fact that he's just got this hanging over him. And he's refusing to give up. He's like, I've just looked at Haaland's next 4. There's no way he's not scoring, is there? I was like, mate, just go.
The missed penalty as well. Did anyone else see that? Watch that happen? Go, he's going to miss. He's going to miss. I just felt like he was going to miss, or Pickford was going to save it. It was a poor pen.
I mean, a Pickford save, I guess, isn't that much of a surprise at the moment because he's playing so well. But come on, it's Haaland for a penalty. What's going on? What's going on? This is disgraceful form. This is appalling. I
tell you what, Phil Foden was good in that fixture, though. 7 chances created. The highest outside of Foden was, I think, 4 this game week. Foden on 7.
Yeah, are you comfortable sticking with him?
Man, I was robbed. That first half, how did Bernardo Silva not score? Foden put it on a plate. Mate, Foden against Leicester is about to bang. Foden is the best Bruno replacement. He was the best Saka replacement. There we go. What can I say? Off the back of my 2-pointer, I'm feeling very smug. Big man, what did you make of Man City, Haaland, Foden? Leicester next for Man City, of course.
I still think they're a hard avoid for me. I don't trust them at all, really. I mean, as you just expect. But, I mean, I appreciate you going Foden because that was a very left field call. And I feel as if you're right. They should have gotten more points. But hey, it could be worse. You could be sitting here with Bruno.
Yeah. And what do we, I mean, off-core, by the way, Jay has just gifted a membership that I think Peter got. So that is so good to see. Thank you. And Peter's one of our regulars that sends in super chats as well. So thank you guys for the support. If you are watching and want to support the channel, a like would be very, very welcome. That costs nothing. And a subscribe would be amazing as well. If you want to hit that subscribe button. We do have a poll running. Do you own Haaland? I expect 90% a no. Our friend Late Riser, Pranil, owns Haaland still, doesn't he, big man?
He does, yeah. I mean, kudos to the guy for sticking with him because, I mean, he's actually one of the very few FPL managers who has Saka, Salah, Palmer, Haaland all in his team. So he's had all of them throughout. He has a very threadbare bench, as you can imagine, but he has a stacked squad, and he really hasn't sort of delivered because Haaland really hasn't fired. But of course, he's been very, very unlucky.
Yeah, we've got to speak.
He probably should be 40 or 50 points better off at least than he is right now.
It's massive. I mean, we've obviously got some suspensions. We have some injuries too. Flecken and Fabianski, they're both out, and there's a fair few with those 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah, so my 2 goalkeepers are.
Go on.
Those two. Yeah.
I knew you had Flecken. I weren't sure if you had Fab. All right, a wicked. Okay, so goalkeeper transfer for you. Oh, apparently FPL Mackham says, Late Riser said this morning he's definitely captaining Haaland. Interesting, because I am tempted to captain Foden. I just don't know if it's the
You're not, mate.
I am.
You're not.
I'm 40. I'm 40% Salah, 30% Palmer, 30%
Wow.
Foden at the moment.
That's a big play if you go there.
Mate, Leicester are the worst defence in the league.
Man City are the worst attack in the league, aren't they?
Oh, they so are. They so are. That have been bad. All right, let's stick on the Foden trail-ish, but ask Big Man mainly. And Dean, your take. If you own Bruno, you're now missing... You missed a bad fixture against Everton. Against whoever he got sent off against. Can't remember.
Wolves away.
Wolves. So that was a good fixture. You've missed half a football match. Newcastle at home was okay, not a great fixture, but okay. You're going to get Bruno now for Liverpool away. Like, is he worth selling? Dean, you previously said he was a problem. Big Man, you own him. I'm guessing you're staying with him, but if you've got a thin bench, I think selling Bruno this week makes complete sense.
Dean?
Yeah, I mean, look, Bruno is part of the problem at Man United. Like, you've got to evolve this team. And I just think we've seen time and time again that no manager is capable of it. And it is not that Bruno Fernandez is a bad footballer. It's just like he is kind of immersed in the problems that have been there. He can't get out of the rut. He can't, like, if things aren't flowing, he's going to get frustrated and he's going to blow up. I just think United would be better off cashing in on him. I just think you could replace Bruno and you could just start to build a new team, and you just got to do it all over the pitch. There's honestly barely anyone in this United team that I would keep. I'd keep Amad Diallo. I'd keep Ugarte. I'd keep Kobe Mainu. I don't think I'm bothered about anyone else. I think every player could go apart from those three.
I'm trying to think of others, and I'm struggling.
You won't find
Luke
one.
Shaw, no, because if he's sick, no.
A couple of the defenders are okay.
Razraoui and Dalot
is okay.
maybe.
Dalot's okay, but again, like, what if Real Madrid want a right back, right? Like, if they can't get Trent, they're interested in Dalot. Sell him, buy a new one. Like, say to Amorim, okay, you can just buy. If we can get rid of all these, then you can buy 12 new players.
Amorim should just go to Lisbon and knock on doors, because they're not going to cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah, like Barragaz says, Haaland.
Oh, please.
Like, honestly,
behave.
like,
There's an FPL option.
not
a chance.
I don't think there's any option. Like, I like Haaland. I think Haaland's a really good footballer. He's
Doesn't score goals, though.
He's not a £70 million striker, and that's
He's not
Amorim's
a goal
problem.
scorer.
That's the problem. And like, United are just going to take longer and longer to get out of this problem. The big issue for Man United is that Champions League is looking a million miles away right now. And the whole point of all of this season was to get back into the top four, to get back in that conversation, to get more money, to be able to get new signings. And they're now not going to have that. So again, Bruno Fernandez, does he want another season of his career without being in the Champions League, without competing for proper trophies again? I don't know. But from an FPL standpoint as well, I said it last week. I don't think he's a good pick. And obviously I didn't think he was going to get a red card, but yeah, he's let you down there.
Big Man, what's your plan?
I mean, firstly on Bruno, I mean, yes, he did get red carded, and yes, United are a very dysfunctional attack. That doesn't mean that Bruno is a bad FPL pick. He's got 60 points in the previous 7 game weeks. I mean, that's serious points that he's had over that period, despite United not playing that particularly well. So I think we need to sort of differentiate between a good asset and a bad team. I think they don't exactly go hand in hand. I think I'm going to find it very tricky to decide what to do. I don't exactly have the best of benches because I have Raul Jimenez as my 8th attacker.
Ooh.
And Raul Jimenez
could start.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his minutes are just up in the air. I mean, I'm sure we'll speak about it with Dean later, as he's a Fulham fan. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to trust Raul's minutes at all from this point onwards. So I'm basically considering. I mean, I really want to keep Bruno because 21 to 25 is a very, very good run. But I think I might have to sell him. And in which case, I'm probably going to eye up a replacement, which is going to allow me to sort of upgrade the rest of the squad. I could go straight to Odegaard, but I think Odegaard's best fixture is actually gone. And now I can potentially look elsewhere because I need to make a few upgrades in the rest of the squad. Remember, I don't have Isak as well. So I need to plan for Isak. I also need to plan on selling Fleck. And I do have Valdemarson, so I don't exactly have to sell him this week. But because Brentford's fixtures are poor anyway, so I'm looking at Flecken out. I'm looking at potentially Isak in for Solanke. My plan with Raul is that I simply don't have enough, let's say, transfers to sort him out. So I'll just let him rot on the bench for the foreseeable. If he becomes an option at some point, so be it. But I still sort of think he's a better player than Muniz. So he will come in at some point later. And even if he doesn't, I'll sort of plan my team in a strategic way where it doesn't really matter. So I completely agree with you. If you have a thin bench, I think Bruno's probably a sell. But if you can afford to keep him, if you have a good bench, then I think he's a hold because the fixtures from 21 onwards are really, really strong.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. The fixtures are there from 21. The selling of Bruno is, going to be dependent on how thin and thick people's benches are. Like, if I owned him, I've got a benching dilemma this week, I'd probably be keeping him because I've got good options to come in. But yeah, if you've got a Jimenez as your 8th attacker, then squeaky bum time. The best replacement for me, and we're going to just spend 2 minutes talking about him and then we'll move on. Find the cash for Phil Foden. You're not going to be disappointed. I know we should only bang on about FPL assets like I bang on about Foden when they are getting FPL points, and Foden hasn't done that. But what better time to invest in a player that hasn't got any points, but that is playing really well? I know City are playing poorly, but we know against teams like Leicester, they're going to have 75% possession. They're going to be high up the pitch. They're going to create chances, and they will score a couple of goals. They might not score 4-5 because it's not a very good Man City, but Foden is the heartbeat of everything in this Man City team at the minute. He is the one player that's put his hand up in the last couple of weeks and said, I'm here for it. I'm fighting for the badge. I'm getting 90 minutes. I'm creating chances. I'm getting shots off. The points are coming for Phil Foden. Thank you so much for the super chat. We'll get to that in a sec. But after that build-up, I can't go on to Ahmad. So let me just go to Foden on Big Man and Dean. Dean, you first.
Sorry, first of all, big up Wazza for gifting a membership a minute ago. Well done, mate. Thank you. I think Danny's just picked that one up. And thank you for that super chat as well. So what was the actual question? I've forgotten already. As I was reading, I was like, what was the question you just asked me?
Is Foden a good Bruno replacement?
No. I just can't try, mate. This team is just terrible.
Did you watch him last time out, though? Did you watch that game? He was brilliant.
He's much better. He's a much improved version. I mean, I went Odegaard and I haven't got the points, but then I could say, well, Odegaard should have scored. He stuck one over the bar from 7 yards after doing all the hard work. He's put a couple of good balls on a plate for people that haven't gone in. So I would say that I still believe that Odegaard is a better pick than Foden as a replacement. But neither of us have really got that much evidence to sit here and argue our cases. We're not that much better off than Big Man. That's just our guy just didn't get a red card. So
Foden got a yellow card, which boosted him down in the BPS. I think he still got one, but he got a yellow card in the last minute.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about Man City anymore, mate. I really don't. I mean, at this point, you are just relying on things we've seen 3 months ago to come back. 4 months. How long ago was it since they played well? I don't know. It must be 3 months. Was it 1 win in 13? Is it 1 win in 13 now?
They beat Forest about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but that was in the period of a terrible run. So yeah, you're right. It's probably 2-3 months.
1 in 13. So
wow.
And back then, obviously, Foden wasn't anywhere close to form. So
yeah,
I don't know. He even changed the team around for this game to put a bit more life into it. So when I saw the lineup actually for Man City, I thought, you know what? Finally, I can see something in it. I can see that he's giving them some hope here of actually being competitive in the middle of the park. We're not seeing Gundogan in there, so that's a positive. Kovacic has got the legs, hopefully, and obviously he's never going to play a full game at the moment. Kovacic has come back from injury, but he played. What did you get? 80 odd minutes in the end, I think. So you had that, but now you go into another game quite quick. Can Kovacic start the next one? Probably not. You're probably getting a Gundogan start in the next game. You might be getting a Kevin De Bruyne start, but City very unconvinced about Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. Jeremy Doku started the last one. Can he start again so quickly? I don't know. Like, there's just so much here lacking, mate. Savio showed a couple of sparks of life, but still a poor man's Riyad Mahrez. you're really, really just hoping for the best here from Phil Foden. It's still the biggest fall off in a footballer of the year that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even if he did look good the other day against Everton.
At home. Big man, he was on 26 BPS in the 93rd minute before that yellow card. Knowing there was no goal, no assist, 26 BPS, you're into your numbers. You know that is sheer dominance. That is supreme.
That is insane.
Point scoring.
That is insane. I mean, he was practically an assist away from getting close to a 9-pointer, basically, which is ludicrous. I mean, I want to touch a bit more on the Bruno replacements, because I don't think the answer is actually as clear-cut as saying, in black and white that this player X is or player Y is the best replacement, because there is no standout. I mean, all of our suggestions, Gianni likes Foden, Dean likes Odegaard. I mean, all these guys, they're decent, but there's no obvious one. It's obviously going to be a tricky one. Some people are getting Sarr, some are getting Eze. I currently like Eze as well, and he's someone I'm eyeing up because of Crystal Palace's run of fixtures. It's really, really strong, and Eze is just 6.6 million. But I think what's really, really important to sort of look at here is the fact that what going for someone cheaper allows later. So a lot of people still don't own Isak. A lot of people still don't have Trent. A lot of people are in the market for a goalkeeper this week. So while it's nice to say in isolation that Foden is the best replacement, Odegaard is the best replacement, we sort of need to see what going for someone cheaper allows down the line as well.
Yeah.
And that's the route I'm sort of leaning towards, because even though I really like Odegaard, I think I'm probably going to get Eze this week, with a view of making some upgrades in my team later. For example, I don't have Alisson, I don't have Isak, and these are the guys I want to bring in the coming weeks.
Well, that's the thing that I was able to do last week. I did take the hit in the end by taking the -4, but I got Isak, and that kind of saved my game week a little bit. It wasn't a mega haul, but I got 69 points, which turned out to be a pretty decent week. But I was pleased to have got Isak in for his 8 points, and so I'm now going forward. Obviously, that's the kind of the player you want as your Saka replacement. I think Isak is the Saka replacement. It's just that you've got to move some bits around to consider it to be an actual replacement. But I think technically it is. It's just not a like for like. So that's where I see that situation right now, because there just isn't one. Like Cole Palmer might have given it the big one in front of the Fulham fans after putting them 1-0 up, but that didn't turn out too good for him over the course of the 90 minutes. And he'll come up with those moments, of course. But we don't really know what we're going to get from Chelsea from here out, to be honest. Like we've been waiting for them to hit a bit of a sticky patch, and this might be it. They might be coming into it right now. And, Palmer might not bring in as many points as we were hoping. But on the flip, you're not going to risk losing him out your team, because there's also the possibility that he goes and bangs in a hat-trick. So I've still got Salah, I've still got Palmer, I've still got Mbeumo. And at the moment, Odegaard is my kind of Saka replacement. And I think I might start Amad Diallo this weekend. I think I'm going to. As EM Storm says, I'm set up. Thank you for the money, by the way. I'm set up at 4-4-2. My question is start and bench one. Ahmed, home to Newcastle, or Wood, away to Everton. And I have a similar dilemma, because I have both of these players too. My dilemma more, though, was like, I'll look at my team in a bit, but obviously I've still got João Pedro, and I've got a couple of defenders that I'm actually more tempted to pick than João Pedro at the moment. But Amad Diallo, at home against Newcastle, I think I'm going to start him. I don't know what we're getting from Man United most weeks. But what I do know is that he's the only player in that team you can trust. Like, he will give you something. I don't really care if he's playing at wing back or if he's playing in one of the 10 roles. I think either way, he's giving you enough creative impetus that he's worthwhile. Obviously, an amazing price point too. But Wood could definitely score against Everton away. But so I think that is a bit more of a dilemma that ZM Storm's got. But Amad Diallo, for me, should be starting if you've got him this week.
I think it's a real coin flip, this one. I think this is a really tough one. I think it sort of comes down to the minutes, actually, which you expect both to play. And if you expect either of them to play a higher number of minutes than the other, then I think that should sort of take precedence. But I would find it really hard to split between the two, personally.
Yeah, I mean Wood's not in a good run at the moment, is he? I mean, let me just grab his stats from recently because he's really fallen off. Yeah, last 3 weeks he's got a 2 points. Week before that it was against Man United. He got an 8-pointer and then a 2-pointer before that. So he's not in a good spell of form. I mean, I've really been hit. Gee, you were talking a minute ago about trying to jump on somebody like Foden before his points come rather than reacting to them. And actually, I do think there's been a trend in FPL this season where it's been really hard to jump on informed players. I jumped on João Pedro and Chris Wood thinking I was going to be onto a good thing. And neither of them have scored a goal for me.
Me and Big Man did the same with DCL,
Yeah.
João Pedro, I think João Pedro, especially Dean and Gianni. I mean, he's someone who I think the significant majority of FPL managers, engaged FPL managers, bought him after he just returned from injury. I remember he did well against Man City. Then against Bournemouth, I sort of recall he got like a 10 or 11 pointer, and then everyone sort of jumped on him because his price was very generous and the fixtures to come were very appealing. But he's just blanked, I think, in 4 or 5 games in a row. Yeah, it's actually 5 blanks in the previous 6 games, and apart from that, he's just had one assist, which is really, really poor. So yeah, what are you guys planning on doing with him? Because
we need Danny Welbeck back. I mean, I've been annoyed by the João Pedro blanks. Don't get me wrong, but in a way, it's not his fault. He's not an out-and-out number 9. Like, we bought João Pedro thinking he was playing second striker behind Welbeck, and when he plays there, he's so much better. Yeah. Well, Welbeck's injured and Ferguson can't get in, so it is going to be João Pedro number 9, which is a problem. I'm thinking I'm probably going to have other fires, Big Man. But if I need money to find for Isak, to go Cunha to Isak, for example, there's a very good chance I actually go fodder and just go João Pedro down to a 4.5 third bench dead spot because I need money, and I think he's one I'm happy to get rid of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's a very tricky one. It's very annoying because a lot of people seem to have him and he's consistently blanking. I think I have way too many fires to put out in my team for me to worry about him. So I'm just going to hope and pray that he gets back to form, or Brighton get a jammy penalty and he can score from the spot.
Yeah. It's funny. So in our WhatsApp, in the Chasing Green Arrows WhatsApp group, before the game, someone said, João Pedro starts. I said, that's not really the problem. Is he going to join in today or not? Like, I knew he was going to start. Is he actually going to join in? That's what I'm more interested in. And
the answer was no.
Yeah, the answer was no. Connor says, bought Bowen as my Saka replacement as he rotates well with Rodgers. Now wonder, should I just start Bowen ahead of Rodgers over the next few fixtures regardless?
Rodgers has got 2 great home games. Like I think you want to be starting Rodgers in your 11 for those home games. We've all had Rodgers bench points. It's very frustrating, but him and Watkins are a better 2 than him and Duran. Like, there's chemistry between Rodgers and Watkins, and we know with Duran missing 3 games now, Watkins starts. That's good for Rodgers. Big Man, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Rodgers he can sort of play every game. I think this is a plan for a lot of people. I mean, the listener in question was referring to Bowen, but a lot of people have Raul Jimenez as well. And Raul Jimenez, even if he misses the next couple of games, the good news for people who own Rodgers is that he has Leicester at home, Brighton at home in the next 2, which is an amazing run of fixtures. So I guess for the next 2 weeks, Rodgers is very playable. In fact, I would argue that you've got to play him if you own him.
Yeah, probably true. By the way, lads, while I'm talking about that Chasing Grounds WhatsApp group, Paul, who is one of our members in there, he's on 16k at the moment. He is absolutely flying. And so I just wanted to make sure that we gave a big shout out to him. He got another 73 points this week, and he's been so consistent since we started up this WhatsApp group. He's been absolutely flying, to the extent he should probably have this role. He should be sat here talking, not me. But yeah, he's at 16k. So big shout out to Paul and James, who's also in there. He's around 30k, I think, at the moment. So yeah, big shouts out to those 2. You can join our members zone. Go to the homepage and sign up. We're always looking for new people to join in with our chat. It's going 24/7. Even over Christmas, there was plenty of chat going in to keep us keep us on our toes when it came to FPL and have somebody to chat with at any time of the day. So if you do fancy it, please do sign up.
There we go. Should we talk goalkeepers? I've benched Matt Sells in the last 2 game weeks. He's had a 9 and a 7. Matt Sales is the best budget goalkeeper in the game by a country mile. Forget fixtures. This guy keeps clean sheets. If you can afford it, Alisson and Raya are very cheap this year and probably better options in terms of overall. And there's not much between them now in terms of savings. But how do we feel about goalkeepers, big man? Dean's got a decision to make. Budget or under 5 million, Matt Sales, Pickford's around that mark. Or do you spend the extra and go Alisson, or spend the extra and go Raya?
I mean, for people with Flecken and Fabianski, it sort of presents us with an opportunity of getting a player with a double coming up, which could be an Everton player or a Liverpool player coming up. But when you look at Everton's fixtures and you sort of scrutinize them, they're not exactly great from a defensive point of view. I know Everton have been getting some decent clean sheets, but against Bournemouth away, Villa at home, Spurs at home, Brighton away, that's 4 of their next 5. It's not great, is it? I'm not seeing too many clean sheets for Everton in that spell, which is why I firmly believe that an upgrade to Alisson would definitely be worth it. And I own Flecken, injury or no injury. I've been talking up Flecken to Alisson for weeks. So I think Alisson is the one to go for if you can sort of maneuver the funds to get there.
Yeah, okay. Dean, what's your thinking?
Fraser Forster. I don't mind it for the next one. Like, they got Wolves at home. I don't know. I honestly, I just didn't want to be doing this. I'm still tempted to just leave it and play without a goalkeeper. They get me so few points in this game anyway. I get 1 or 2 points a week from these goalkeepers. So what's the point?
But don't see it as a 4-point hit. It's a 2-point hit if they're getting those 2 points.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could get to Jordan Pickford, if I'm honest.
It's a fair point.
I'm like 0.2 million away from being able to get to Pickford. I think it's 7 clean sheets from 17 Premier League games so far this season.
Sales is on the same, 7 each. Those two have smashed it.
And Pickford, like the amount of saves he makes too, because they're usually under pressure, means that even if he does concede a goal, like there's always a chance you're going to get some extra points anyway. So I do think Pickford's a really good pick, and I'm slightly annoyed that he's 4.9 and I've only got 4.7 to spend.
And Sales is 4.8, and Sanchez, the other good one, is 4.8. It is worth noting, best FPL keepers so far this season in terms of pure points. Pickford 1, Sales 2, Raya 3.
Yeah. So when it comes to like affordable players that are in form, the app is telling me that Kepa is my best pick. Then you've got Henderson, Dubravka, Forster.
Bournemouth fixtures, they're mixed, aren't they? They're sort of... And we've got a fixture ticker we can show. Let's have a look. How do we see Kepa's clean sheets going? We'll show the ticker.
It's not terrible. He's got Fulham away. He's got Everton at home. He's got Chelsea away, Newcastle away, Forest home. So I'm not really looking any further than those 5.
Bournemouth aren't a clean sheet team, though, are they? They're kind of... I know they've just kept a clean sheet versus Palace, but they're not a team I bank on. They always feel like a team that will concede 1.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Leno, mate? Because Leno, I tweeted after the Chelsea game, I think Leno is the most underrated goalkeeper in the league. By some distance, actually. Like, we forget Leno was an Arsenal goalkeeper, he was a Germany goalkeeper, but he is top tier.
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, it was man of the match at the weekend.
Save for Enzo. So I owned Enzo. It was top bins, and I was just, how's he got there?
I preferred the Cucurella header.
Oh yeah, true. That would have been an assist for my man as well.
Oh, I'm so gutted, mate. That wasn't at that game. I've waited my whole life.
I saw it was Jack was there, right?
Yeah, I mean the away end just was like I had so many messages and videos from people who were at it afterwards. We were jumping around in San Diego, trust me. Leno's fixtures are good, and he's really good, but he's 5 million.
Oh, is he? Okay, sorry, I hadn't checked his price point. I assumed he would have started the season at 4.5, but I'm guessing he started the season at 5. Okay.
I think he might have started at 5, yeah, because he did really well last season. He was one of the higher goalkeepers. So yeah, Fulham have got a great next 5. And if you can get to Leno, then by all means try and get there. But in terms of my options, honestly, the more I'm thinking about it, I might just go Fraser Forster. How long was Fabianski out for? Do we know? Was there any...
Fabianski went off. I think it was... Oh, Big Man says, let me in, Mr. Producer. Fabianski went off. I think technically it was a concussion sub. which I think by default rules him out. But it looked serious. There was 5-minute stoppage, wasn't it? I don't know.
But that means he could be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless Areola
takes the press conference today, but yeah.
Areola might take the opportunity and kind of keep the spot.
Yeah.
Because that's actually another one to consider, actually. Areola.
It's just knowing he lost that spot. It like clearly the manager doesn't rate him for whatever reason.
No, he doesn't rate him. He doesn't they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like Areola,
like Todibo and all the others he's fallen
a lot.
With.
Yeah, like 5 of the West Ham players have fallen
the
out.
Anti-French,
and he was one of them. Yeah, I mean, obviously the fixtures aren't great. I'm not really going to pick a West Ham goalkeeper who's not liked when they're playing Liverpool and Man City in the next 2 games. Subaru Forester. No, honestly, why is Fraser Forster not a good pick for Wolves at home?
Come on,
what?
Spurs defense?
Yeah, they're great.
Have you seen their fit centre backs? I think Spurs.
I'm very limited here, people. I've got 4 goalkeepers I can realistically pick from. I've got 4 goalkeepers.
Yeah, Yves Bissouma is going to play centre back versus Isak. By the way, I mean,
yeah, but I really am actually
Cunha
stuck.
This week.
Honestly, I'm not. I might play about on.
Big man, what would you do if you were Dean goalkeeper?
I mean, I would look at getting the funds for Alisson if he doesn't have them.
Yeah,
I just think it's just worth going there because he's going to solve
I'd have
a
to
lot
take
of
a -4
problems.
though, and I can't take another -4, can I?
Yeah, but you get an appearance point straight away. Alisson will get you those 4 points back with a clean sheet, or even just appearance, he'll get stuck a -2.
And with a double.
What week is the double?
24 or 25.
Likely.
Okay. Yeah.
Gianni,
Dubravka is right there
you were
for JR.
mentioning-
Check Nick Pope's status, and obviously he's out, but I don't know how long he's out for. Good point, JR. Go on, big man. What are you saying?
Yeah, you were mentioning Isak against that Spurs defense.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have Isak, if I'm not mistaken. You don't own him, right? And I don't either. Dean's just bought him this week. What is your plan with Isak? When are you going to get him? Because the fixtures especially from even the 20 fixtures, great. The fixtures from game week 20 onwards are like really, really good.
He has to be in my team by 21 without fail. Probably going to be in my team in game week 20 because Spurs away is an amazing entry point. He isn't going to be in my team in 19. And unfortunately, I could have left myself open for Isak if I'd bought Bruno or bought Ahmad or Gordon, all the other midfielders I was looking at. But by buying Phil Foden, I knew I was ruling myself out of Isak for game week 19. And I made my bed. I'm that pro Phil Foden, and he's going to bang versus Leicester. Trust me, guys. Trust me on this one. That I was happy to go there. So yeah, Isak for me is possible in game week 20. My plan would be Cunha to Isak with 2 free transfers. And I'm happy selling Cunha in 20 because surely the bang comes in, if not 20, by 21. And 20 is not the easiest of fixtures. But selling Cunha for Tottenham away would be foolish. Yeah, I'm happy. But we will need Isak. You're right, big man. We have to have him by 20, maybe 21, right? Is that your plan, 21?
Yeah, my rough plan is to bring him in by game week 20 or 21. I'm just not sure. It sort of depends on which sort of transfer route I take for my team this week. And it's going to be dependent on whatever I do. But yeah, by game week 21 at the max, but preferably in game week 20.
Yeah. So just going to my goalkeeper conversation for a second, lads. I'm just flicking through these 4 options that I got. I think it might have to be Dean Henderson. Crystal Palace got Southampton home, Chelsea home, Leicester away, West Ham away, Brentford home. That's not too bad.
I like that.
That's not too bad, really. That probably is better than me getting Forster, who I don't want. So it's looking like, yeah, my hunch after just looking quickly at the fixtures and the stats is that Dean Henderson's going to be my emergency goalkeeper if I don't take that punt to get Alisson in that you suggested.
I mean, Mackham says -4 for a goalkeeper that will pay off over 5+ weeks is easy. You just got to see it as that -4. Yeah, spread it across the even 10, 15 weeks and go, I get a double game week, blah, blah, blah. I'm with Mackham.
I've got to downgrade someone else, though, and I haven't really got many people.
Yeah, true. It's where you find the funds elsewhere. Well, look, should we look at our teams? We've only got 15 minutes, so let's spend 5 minutes on each of our teams. I don't know if we're showing points from last game week or teams coming up this game week, but maybe it's both.
I think it's team, I think.
Is it team? Here we go.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
So, Dean, this
This
is
is
where would
Dean.
we find the money for Dean to go Flecken to say Allison? Who do we downgrade on a 4-point hit? And Burmo, is he a sell?
Potentially. I don't really want to. So obviously, yeah, like so Flecken would go, so that's 4.5. So I need to get 0.7. So I'd be like, well, João Pedro I'd love to get rid of, but who can I sign for 5 million? Pretty much no one. Chris Wood I could sell, but I'm gonna get it for 5.8.
No plans for Trent, Dean?
No plans for Trent this season.
Arsenal, mate, with the fixtures coming up, not the easiest. Could you sell an Arsenal defender to a Daniel Munoz, for example?
I would have sold Saliba, but I mean, selling Gabriel is different. I mean, he could have easily scored again.
Yeah,
he
should
Dean's
have
got
again. How he missed, I don't know.
Exactly. So I'm not sure whether I'd feel comfortable selling Gabriel. I think if I was in Dean's position, I think there are two routes you can realistically take. If you're not planning for Trent, like you say, you can just simply do Mbomo to Eze, and I think that would fund Allison for you.
Oh, does that make enough money? Does it? Oh, okay.
I think it does, yes. And if not, then you can downgrade Wood to a cheap 4.5 million striker like Stewart, and that would give you enough funds to get Allison and then even Trent in the weeks to come.
Yeah, and I can just play one up front because João Pedro ain't playing.
Well, to be fair, I mean, recently there are not too many strikers who've been performing that well, with the exception of Isak and Cunha. No one else has done anything.
No, it's actually not about like
Jackson.
Yeah.
People have Jackson. People have Solanke.
Dominic Decoy was back at the weekend, by the way. Loved seeing Decoy Dominic at Forest.
Yeah, some still have Haaland. Others have Strand Larsen. I mean, it's been very, very disappointing.
Yeah, lone strikers might be the way forward to go. Okay, so I've got that to consider. So yeah, either Dean Henderson comes in as just a like for like, or I play it tactical like you masterminds, and I get Allison in for the long haul. Which I can see the logic in it. I just got to accept the -4. Which means that me and G are kind of like swapping places at the moment. We're pretty much.
Or Dean, you could just mentally accept that you owned Bruno this week and you were 4 points behind.
I like that. Do we need to talk captaincy? We probably do. We have to talk captaincy.
Of course. It's very close. It's very, very close.
Dean's got the Iron Man on Salah. I am so torn on this one. Big man, what's your take? Palmer gets an extra day's rest. That's one thing that I like for Palmer, but Salah doesn't need rest because he's an absolute animal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very close. I'll have a look at the market odds. I haven't really gotten the time to look at them as yet, but I suspect that Salah would be superior because he's Salah simply. And if that's the case, I think I'll go with Salah. And generally, if it's a 50-50 call, I will find it. I would struggle to go against Salah, but if someone is chasing rank, I don't think Palmer is the worst point as a differential captain, because Salah, if you look at the polls on Twitter or on every other fantasy football website, Salah is actually head and shoulders above Palmer in terms of the leaderboard, captaincy leaderboard. So Salah will be a mass captain. Palmer will be a big differential, and I think this week sort of presents a good opportunity to make up ground if needed. I think I'll play it safe with Salah though, personally.
Dean, how do you feel about those two?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even considering taking it off Salah at the moment.
Are you not?
No,
you're not. Ipswich, is it because Ipswich aren't as bad at home as people think, or is it just purely this is a Salah being amazing player?
It's just purely like Salah's one of the only in-form reliable players in this game. Like I'm just trying not to overcomplicate it, and like I've already like keep flip-flopping in and out of the top million in this game, and I just know that if I do take the armband off of Salah, and whoever I put it on doesn't work out, I'm going way out. So I'd rather stick with it rather than do anything too obscure. Like West Ham away, like we've seen what West Ham can be like. They're not great. So I just can't believe that Salah doesn't score against West Ham.
Yeah, I've got fond memories of Salah scoring maybe a brace at the London Stadium when I captained him once. But yeah. West Ham, by the way, conceded around 2.5 XG to Southampton Like Southampton were unlucky. Freddie's in the chat. Tall John, by the way, paid up front for Southampton. Not quite sure how to pronounce his surname, but he's 4.9 million and a striker that is like 2 meters tall. 2 meters he is. He got 90 under the new manager. I might actually be buying him because I need. Well, we'll get to my team in a second. Let's get to my team. But yeah, Southampton 2.5 XG. That's how bad West Ham were at the back.
By the way, before I forget, I'm just looking at Salah's record against West Ham.
It's good.
He's played against them 16 times and he's scored 12 goals and got 3 assists. So there's only 3 teams that he's ever scored more goals against. So West Ham is one of the teams that he takes as victim regularly. So yeah, I'm happy to count on that.
His name sounds like a dodgy sneeze. Gianni buying Onayuchu before Isak, says Shashan. Let me explain myself. This week I'm rolling. Next week I need to find money from Cunha to Isak. I've got 1.4 in the bank. I need another 0.8. As things stand, I need 0.8. But Isak's probably going to go up in price. I have the exact funds to go João Pedro down to Tall John and Cunha to Isak the same week, Shashant, not before, the same week. And it'll just mean I've got effectively a dead spot of Tall John. Or I go down to a 4.5 fodder and have a dead spot with an extra 500,000 in the bank. That's an option. The other place to find money, the only player I'm willing to sell to find big enough money, I haven't got enough in Lewis, I haven't got enough in Hall, I haven't got enough in Mikalenko. I'm not selling Trent. I've actually considered Gabriel down to Manoz, but that sounds mental because Gabriel is Gabriel. But Manoz has got amazing fixtures and it gives me a ton of money. But I think I'm likely to go João Pedro out, Cunha up to Isak. But this will all be next week. Big man, what's your thoughts on that sort of plan or those 2 plans?
This week you're set on saving, right?
Yeah. I've got no free transfers in the bank, so I need 2 to do that for free. So the plan would be do it next week with Isak in.
Yeah, I sort of feel jealous looking at your team because it feels really, really well set up for this week. And even for the weeks to come, especially you have Lewis Hall in place, you'll get Isak in. So the team will look fairly strong in the weeks to come. I think a lot sort of depends on, how Foden does. And then you can potentially look at a way of getting Isak in for Cunha. I think Cunha will be a sell very soon because of the fixtures anyway. So I like the plan of sort of upgrading Cunha to Isak. I think that's something which will sort of serve you well in the weeks to come because Jackson's fixtures are still all right. And I think Cunha sort of has to be the Isak replacement.
Yeah, it does mean if I go João Pedro down to a dead spot, some weeks I won't have a good 7th attacker, i.e. an Enzo or a Rodgers as a bad fixture. And in those weeks, I'm quite happy because I've got a very good back 5, i.e. a good enough back 5 where I'll just play 4-4-2. So again, I'm quite up for that. I've had so many bench points. Last week, I had 27 bench points. This week, I had 17 bench points. Like I'm constantly defending goal. I'm constantly playing sales, but also my defenders like Lewis Hall, Mikalenko getting clean sheets on the bench. So this week, I've got another benching headache. Do I bench Mikalenko or Rico Lewis? Don't know.
I think you probably.
Rico
clean
Lewis.
sheet odds would. Do you think Rico starts?
They play Rico Lewis, but
I wouldn't play Rico Lewis. I just think that Rico Lewis is actually one of the weak points in this Man City team at the moment, and I think he has been for a while. The fullbacks, the fullback options for Man City have really been one of their big downfalls for this season. They haven't been playing with a proper left back. They need to get Vardiel into the middle and sign a left back. And over there at the right, Kyle Walker has obviously been exposed, and Rico Lewis hasn't been very good there either. Even on that goal that they conceded at the weekend, Rico Lewis is to blame at the far post. It wouldn't totally surprise me if Rico Lewis didn't even play. So I wouldn't be picking Rico Lewis. And I think Mikalenko's got a good enough fixture that you can trust.
Yeah.
Gianni, I think if you expect Rico to start, it comes down to that because when you look at the clean sheet odds, City are second this week. Crystal Palace are first, but City are only marginally behind. City are 38% clean sheet odds. Everton are 31%. So Yeah, I mean, the bookmakers are favoring Man City in terms of keeping a clean sheet. But
Yeah.
again, it comes down to the minutes. I think if you don't expect him to start, then I agree with Dean that Mykolenko can cover you well.
Don't think we'll get a team leak. Although City are the early game, we've stopped getting leaks out of City since the physio left, so that's annoying as well. I bought Foden blind this week. Like, they were the first game. We didn't know Foden was starting. I mean, it was clear he was going to start. By the way, last point on Foden and Man City. If you're into your average position maps and your pass maps, the last 2 months, they've been dire. There's been no identity in how Man City keep possession and build play. Against whoever they played the weekend, Everton, it's the first time I've seen a Pep pass map in 2 months. It was very, very good. If you're into that sort of thing, just another indicator that Foden's about to bang. Just throwing it out there.
I mean, this is supposed to be their platform, mate. This was supposed to be the spell in which they show that they're capable of getting back in the top 4. But they did let 2 points go in that first game.
Yeah,
and that is definitely not a good sign. Like, they should not be dropping points like that at that point. So I am alarmed by it. I could quick shout out to Leo, by the way, who's in the chat. He's one of the guys that's out here in San Diego for Christmas. He's my friend's son. So good morning, Leo. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
There we
go. Leo.
Okay, so yeah, that's the plan this week. Captaincy, I said earlier, I'm 40% Salah, 30% Palmer, 30% Foden. I am torn. I mean, I'll probably end up resorting to type and going Salah, but
everyone is, mate. I mean, 66% of our vote.
That's scary.
Has gone Salah. Palmer came second with 18. Isak only got 3%.
Gianni, hypothetically, if you did go Foden, that's putting a lot of eggs in one basket. That would be really, really ballsy.
I mean, if I go Palmer, it feels eggs in baskets too, because I've got Jackson and Enzo. Like, I'm very reliant on that Chelsea attack if I go to Palmer. But yeah, eggs in baskets for Foden at 5% owned it would be huge. I think Foden scores points against Leicester. I just happen to think Salah also scores points big time against West Ham. So I probably can't. But yeah,
you're in a tough situation, mate, because you obviously don't want to be. I mean, the thing that would. Obviously, like, Man City is the first game as well. Like, I know that shouldn't matter, but if you put the armband on Foden in the early game and he doesn't score, then you're waiting across the rest of the weekend to see. I mean, I know Salah's only playing a few hours later, but like, even some people might go the games that come later in the week. It's just going to be a painful one for you, mate.
Mate, my season's a write-off anyway. I'm done. Like, and Mark's
the season's not a write-off. We've got ages
rank. So I'm very happy to do that. I do mention those shows. I'm I think 1.3 million still. I've had grey arrow after grey arrow the last few weeks. But no, I mean, it's not a write-off, but it's a write-off in terms of a good rank. Like, I can get a credible enough rank. I'm certainly not going to get a good rank. Top 100k is not. I think I've only finished outside the top 100k twice in 15 years of playing FPL. That's about to happen.
Gianni, you're underestimating the power of the chips that are still going to come into play.
There's too many good engaged managers now, though, big man. They're all on good chip strategies. I need fewer than 100k managers to be good on chips. And you just look at the YouTube numbers of a Let's Talk FPL to go, Christ, there's a ton of engaged FPL managers. It's harder than it used to be because everyone copies the good chip strategies of their favorite content creator.
They do that. But the other thing is that this season hasn't been that reliable for people. And like these, there are things that are going to happen in the second half of the season. Like, Man City can't continue like this, and they will go through a good stretch. And if you have got Foden when nobody else has got him, then you might catch a wave and catch people. And then there'll be a new signing or two that comes in January. And if you get on that person, they start banging early, then you can start to catch up. Like, I think you're underestimating like how much the season can still change. Like, as bad as tough as the first half of this season has been, and definitely has been. I still think that the next couple of months can change a lot. And there's that weird assistant manager chip to come
True,
too.
that does change things. The assistant manager chip is massive.
Yeah, and you understand it. Like, a lot of people won't understand it, right? Like, that could be your thing.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's see. See your team, big man. Who, by the way, I should definitely take inspiration from Big Man. only 6 weeks ago, we probably had the same rank. Now, big man, where are you at?
I was at 300k actually a week ago. I've now dropped to 480k in 2 weeks. I've had
But
two
still, you've had a good run
red
over the
arrows.
last couple of months.
Yeah, I was 3.5 mil in game week 9.
Wow.
Right, so I've improved a bit. I mean, yeah, this week's transfers didn't go exactly according to plan because I got Bruno in, and now I sort of have to deal with him. Ideally, I think I want to keep Bruno for the spell that United have between game week 21 to 25, but I'm not sure I have the luxury to with sort of a weak bench. I guess I can play Colwell, but I mean, I'm not sure whether that's the play here. I'm looking at Eze as a replacement because Crystal Palace have a really good run of fixtures, and I sort of trust Eze um, in terms of being Palace's talisman. But yeah, I mean, I could. It depends on the second transfer as well because I have 0.6 million in the bank. I could potentially upgrade Fleck into Allison, but I think I might just do Bruno to Eze with the idea of keeping some additional flexibility in hand next week with 2 free transfers. I can then potentially get Isak for Solanke. But yeah, I mean, my plans in the coming weeks involve Isak, involve upgrading my goalkeeper, and potentially even downgrading Saliba to let's say upgrade someone like Solanke to Isak. So I want to have that flexibility. And currently I'm leaning towards Fernandez to Eze, but I'm not sure I love it, to be very honest. I think I would rather be sitting here with Odegaard in my team and chilling this week as opposed to having to make this decision because it feels like a very tough one. And it's a decision which could have some big repercussions in the weeks to come.
Mate, is there a way? Look, I don't like Solanke in your team, but I just wonder if you can make João Pedro Isak and selling Bruno down to a budget mid allows that. Have you considered that route?
I don't think I have the team value. I don't think I have the team value to do it. And honestly, if I'm selling a cheap mid, it would be Raul, not João Pedro, because at least João Pedro is playing. A cheap forward, sorry.
All that. Yeah, right? And Ben João Pedro, yeah. So you can't take Bruno down to a 5 million.
No, not necessarily.
Or 5.7 SAR. No, you wouldn't have enough, would you?
Not necessarily. Exactly, because Isak is rising by the hour. And I'm not sure I can bring myself to do that. And besides, Gianni, I want to sell Solanke after this week anyway. So I'm fine just fighting or riding out Isak this week and then selling Solanke next week or the week after that because I'm not seeing a long-term future for Solanke in my team after this week. I think this week's fixture is fine, so I'm happy keeping him. But after this week, I think Solanke to Isak is an easy enough upgrade.
Yeah, fair enough. You could start Colwell this week, mate. Like I know Chelsea are bad defensively, but we've got a good enough chance of a clean sheet against Ipswich.
You think so? I mean, I don't know.
Ipswich do at home 35%.
I mean, Ipswich at home do strike me as the kind of team who can, score. It's 37%, which is fairly decent. But I mean, yeah, it's a very tricky call that I have to make. I also, we haven't even discussed Mboma. Mboma is another one I kind of want to get rid of, but because I have other priorities in my team, I'm not sure I can.
They're so good at home, though. Selling, I know it's Arsenal, but
yeah, I don't know what to do.
You got him too.
It is Arsenal. It is Arsenal. Southampton. The next two are fine, but Arsenal's obviously tough. The Man City at home is all right, but then they have Liverpool at home as well. So it's not exactly an ideal run of fixtures that you keep him for, even though it's like, even if it's like 4 fixtures at home. But let's say hypothetically, if I had this team and Bruno wasn't suspended, I think I would probably be doing Mboma to Eze this week. But now I sort of have a very difficult decision to make, and I'm going to give myself some additional time to think about it because I'm not exactly sure which way I'm going to go. But I think it's almost certain that Eze will most probably come into my team by tomorrow deadline. I'm just not sure whether I'll make 1 transfer, 2 transfers. I'll probably have a long, hard think about it tomorrow.
Cool. Okay. Dean, any final thoughts from you?
Is Pedro Neto okay from where he was rolling around at Stamford Bridge just before Fulham scored the other day? Is everything
I've done very well to avoid that over the last hour, haven't I? The Chelsea Fulham chat. I've tried steering us away. We haven't had a chance to speak too much about the likes of Raul Jimenez, but guys, if you can, sell him. And yeah, Pedro Neto is one of the few Chelsea wide men that's playing well despite rolling around. Sancho was
pathetic, man. What a pathetic man.
It wasn't as bad as Carl Walker, at least.
No, not quite as bad. No. But yeah, so I think, I've actually got that in Bermo dilemma, actually. I'm like, oh, do I? It looks bad because Arsenal at home, but Brentford could definitely score against that Arsenal team. And then, like, obviously, you're going and I've got double Arsenal defence, as most people have. And, like, if that slips and it's in Bermo that's got the goal and he's on my bench, then that's really painful. So I think I'll probably keep in Bermo in my starting 11, just as, like, insurance against that, basically.
Dean, I think I'll probably do similar because I have so many issues in my team to address anyway. I think I might hedge with a way of just hoping that even if Arsenal concede, it's Mbomo gets the goal or the assist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all your comments in the chat. Apologies, we've not had time for questions. We're obviously able to answer the super chats and very few others, but we'll try and do more questions on Monday when we'll be back. On your way out, we would love you to support the channel if you fancy hitting that subscribe button. There's 436 of you watching. I bet 100 are not subscribed. Now, the chat wasn't on. Was the chat on subscriber mode? Even some of you in the chat might not be subscribed. So do hit the button if you fancy. Do like, and we'll be back for another stream on Monday. Hit the notification bell to know when that will be on. I think it will be 6 or 7 p.m., probably 7 p.m. UK time. So come and see us on Monday, and good luck this game week.